Niels, we should wait for another minute or two, right?
Sorry, please repeat.
Yeah, we can wait a minute or two, right?
No, you can.
Actually, I'm waiting for a game. Daljit is not here, so he can give us updates. 5G.
I always wear sunglasses or a mask. It doesn't recognize it? Mine recognizes sunglasses and masks. What? It moves. Mine's a silver. Now, if I'm wearing sunglasses and masks together, but if I'm wearing a mask or sunglasses, it looks just fine.
Richard, you might not be muted.
Yeah. Okay, so we can start with the orchestrator updates from Sebastian.
Okay, hi everyone. Let me just quickly share my screen. So first I want to talk about the orchestrator. You should now see my browser, and it's a bug that has been open for a while and that has taken us quite some time to fix. It was originally reported on Slack, and it's about NMS organization and orchestrator tenants. So this is a feature that allows a kind of multi-tenancy in Magma. So only some users of a Magma installation are able to see some of the networks. And this feature originally only existed in NMS, but after a while it was also mirrored into Orchestrator, where it's not called organizations, but tenants. And the sync between these two concepts was not implemented very consistently. So in the past, the only time when the NMS organizations were synced to Orchestrator was when the user clicked on the Grafana dashboard, and that led to some confusion. And when we looked at this bug, at first we tried to get rid of the duplication, so to avoid the synchronization completely by just getting the information always from Orchestrator. And unfortunately, that turned out not to work because the way the data is stored between NMS and Orchestrator is pretty different. And basically, in Orchestrator, it's just a big JSON blob. But in NMS, you need fields deep within the JSON blob as a kind of foreign key. So that approach of moving into Orchestrator wouldn't work without completely redesigning how the data is stored in Orchestrator. Instead, we did a simpler thing to just make the synchronization more consistent. So basically, we changed NMS in a way that whenever a user actually calls an NMS endpoint to modify organizations, the sync happens immediately. So whenever you change the organization data, you also change the orchestrator tenant data at the same time. And we added a documentation to the orchestrator tenant API that warns the user that these tenants should not be modified manually in Orchestrator, because if you do that and then later you start NMS, all the changes you have done in Orchestrator will just be overridden again. And yeah, with this, we hope the synchronization is now more reliable, and this problem won't be such a problem for user anymore. One thing we weren't sure about is if there's actually any users that use Orchestrator without NMS, because for them, the only thing that it would be possible would be using the API manually. But so far, we haven't heard of that use case. Yeah, that's it for this bug. Are there any questions?
I wonder,
it was
good. Go ahead.
So Sebastian, maybe I can check if any of our customer is using it. I think there are a couple of issues folks have reported. So I'll get back if I have more information. I'll touch upon with the customers.
That would be great. Thank you.
I wonder if you can clarify, are there any semantic differences between an organization and a tenant?
So an organization has a bit more a bit more information. So on the NMS side, we also store data for users, and Orchestrator doesn't know about the users at all. And NMS also supports some SSO logins, so you could connect it to an OAuth provider, and that's also not mirrored on the Orchestrator side. But I don't know of anything that's stored in Orchestrator that NMS wouldn't know about.
Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Right. So if there's no more questions about this, then I also have a quick Devops update. So a few weeks ago, I reported that we were working on new kinds of integration test workflows. So I'm not sure how aware you are of that at the moment. Every time you push to master, you have the build all workflow that actually builds the artifacts, and then the integration test workflow that builds a Magma dev environment and runs all the LTE integration tests against that environment. And we're working on running the integration tests instead against an environment that's closer to the deployed production environment. And there's two approaches in parallel, and one of them is now finally merged to master. So there's a new LTE integ test workflow that takes the built Debian packages, deploys them on a VM, and then runs the integration tests against that environment. That will be really helpful, I think, because in the past we've had bugs that were only visible in the deployed Magma and not in the dev environment. And at the same time, we're also working on doing the same thing with the Dockerized gateway instead of the Debian gateway. That one is still in progress, mainly because the Docker gateway in general seems a little less stable than the Debian gateway, and we're still working on getting it running reliably. And you can, look at these links to see how it's going. Any questions about this?
Yeah, nothing. I said maybe we'll go through the PRs, and then if there is any questions, we'll come back, Sebastian.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
In that case, I think I'll hand over to Niels.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. Let me quickly share my screen. 1 second. So this is basically just a quick heads up that there was some movement about test stabilizations. So we had this now several times, especially currently the LT integration tests fail a lot. You see this when you merge a pull request and get an email that it failed again. I mean, other workflows as well, but there's currently some movement regarding the LTE integration tests. So FYI, there is a new channel created, test stabilization. Feel free to join it if you are interested in the topic, or if you have some knowledge about failing integration tests. Also linked in the header of this channel is a tracking issue for the ongoing efforts. So a lot of people are currently looking into it. There are some issues that are not started yet, and some that are ongoing. So feel free to grab one of the not started, do an analysis, maybe tackle some issues. Would help the community a lot. Yeah, thanks Antien for creating this and for other people to already looking into it. And I will not go into detail about the current issues there are found, but some problems are already solutions ongoing. Any questions for this part? Then, thank you very much. That's it from my side.
Okay, and for the 5G updates, Yogesh, do you have anything to share with us?
Yeah, so somehow I was thinking Diljit will do it. I think he didn't updated it. So yeah, nothing much. We
Hey, Yogesh, are you there in the call?
All the things are done. So I think that's all. I think there were three
Hey,
issues.
Yogesh, we didn't hear much of your voice. Can you repeat?
Yeah, is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll update the notes, but basically there were some restart and negative scenarios which we fixed. And yeah, I think we are wrapping up the 1.8 testing. So all the logs and things are there. So if all went well, we'll share the details of the release. But yeah, I think mostly negative and restart scenarios we found in our testing. So that's what we are fixing. I think, yeah, the details I'll update in the notes.
So, okay, Shubham, is 1.8 scheduled to release tomorrow? Are there any surprises or it will go?
So yeah, most probably it will be released tomorrow, and we have like done all the testing and all the data from other companies. We have also collected that, and we are just finalizing few stuff. Then yeah, we'll maybe release this tomorrow, hopefully. Yes.
Thanks, Shubham. Finally, the good news. Yogesh and team, the long pending massive piece of code that is added on 5GSA finally is making to the release 1.8.
Yes, definitely. Mostly the every other company have like tested the deployment and network functions and all the things that we have, and they are saying okay that we are good to release. They have all tested the release candidate that we released a week back. So now I think we are in a good stage and we can release.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we have some like a lot of time left. If anyone would like to bring something up, please do. If not, then yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.